Hello, my Banda crew, and welcome back to the channel. We're at that spooky time of the year, October. Halloween's just around the corner, and it got me feeling a little spooky. So naturally, I wanted to talk about the 99X game, Crash Bandicoot 99X, as the fans call it. It came out in 1998. It was for the 99X Tiger electronic system. And if you've never heard of it, don't worry. It's a very obscure game in the series. I wanted to talk about the game and how I think we could really use a remake of it. So, sit back and relax, and I'm going to show you some Crash Bandicoot stuff. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I release Crash Bandicoot content every single week. We discuss lore, theories, news, we do tier lists, interviews. I also do videos like this from time to time, covering little bits of lore and obscure information that not many Crash fans know about. And I also have a Crash Bandicoot podcast. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. So I'm going to show you a small advert that was made for the 99X and the Crash Bandicoot game to show you a little idea of the marketing that we were getting for this game. And then I'm going to explain more in detail what the game was, because frankly the commercial doesn't do that good of a job. And we're going to look at some gameplay footage of it while I talk about how I would handle a remake.
This is my world, 99X! Stretch beyond normal gaming systems and crash into a multi-level gaming universe. Only 99X hacks 6400 high-res screen and digitized sound into a Crash Bandicoot game you've never played. Link this spin, move, and smash, jump, and hijinks with other 99Xs for a head-on crash. Then boot up 99X to your computer and crash the Tiger website for expanded gameplay.
99X games, stretching the confines of portable gaming.
So the Crash Bandicoot 99X game is unlike any other Crash Bandicoot game that we've had in the past. It's coming off of Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2's release. This was released in 1998, so before Crash Bandicoot Warped came out. So as far as lore, continuity, and characters, there wasn't really much for this company to, build off of. So through interviews and stuff, we've seen that they tried to base it all on Looney Tunes characters and stuff. And this game is more, instead of being fantastical with magic and stuff, it's more creepy. There's a swamp level, a catacombs level, which you're looking at now, a graveyard level, and then a haunted castle level. And each of the monsters, or bosses I should say, are universal monsters. There is Grumbler, which is a mummy. There is Crumb himself, who was based off the Looney Tunes Dracula guy. He's a skeleton. We also have Thornthing, who is the swamp creature, you could call him. He's kind of he's like a stump-like creature with vines. And then there's Digger, who's like a skeleton. So it's all just a corridor, as you can see the gameplay right now. So it's like the going down the hallways, and there's branching paths. You have spiders, scorpions, and then other undistinguishable monsters because the screen's really small and the graphics are very subpar, which is why I think it would be wonderful for this to get a remake. Not every Crash Bandicoot game needs to be a AAA $1 million budget. We could have a small little side-scroller. It could just take elements of this game. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one remake like how the Insane Trilogy was. I wouldn't mind a 2D side-scroller like we had for The Huge Adventure and 2 Entrance. Those were really fun games. And I could see a Crash Bandicoot 99X remake working very well. And it could be a digital-only game that you could download on your Switch or your Xbox or PS5, or they could go the physical route and have it on a cartridge. And you know what? Just charge $10 for it. $15 for it. Don't make it a big expensive game. Just have it be a little side project. Release it on Halloween. Spooky time of the year. We could love stuff like that. Like if the Crash Bandicoot franchise just drip fed us little games here and there and not focused on gigantic releases every 3 to 4 years, we would just be happy as clams. I know I would. There, now I just went to the spooky woods level. Like I said, you've got 4 different environments to explore. We could have the catacombs, the woods, the graveyard, and the castle, or haunted mansion. Just have each level, or each world, have its own levels, and then end each world with its own boss, like they had in this game. And just really, really ham it up with all the visuals and stuff. And we could actually expand upon it now that we've had all these different games in the franchise. Just like in Crash on the Run, when Crumb was in the game, he would summon the lab assistants that were mummies. So in this game, we could have lab assistant mummies walking around in the graveyard levels. There's also snakes that you can see here, and there's bats, and we have large bats in Crash Bandicoot 1, but we also have the Titans, the Battlers, which are the Switchblade / Bat Titan characters, and they would fit in perfect here. We could also have the Grimleys, the purple ghost-like Titans. Like, I'm telling you, there's so much lore that they could put into this game, making it a remake, bringing stuff from future installments and pulling it back into this. I think it would just be fantastic. And on top of having like a whole handful of levels and different characters, we could have like side stuff, like perhaps races. You could race against people, going down, stuff like that. Like, the thing that I think of mostly when I'm saying side game is like Kirby. Kirby was built for side games. I haven't played it personally, but there was a game called Gourmet Race, I believe, or Buffet Race, possibly both, and you just raced other characters and ate food. So being able to just like run around as Crash Bandicoot characters, grabbing a Wumpa fruit, or they could, you know, reintroduce the Wumpkins that were in Crash Team Rumble. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Crash Team Rumble had the Wumpkins, so this being a spooky Halloween type game, instead of having Wumpa fruit, you could have the Wumpkins around. You could have characters racing, like you and other racers running around, and I just think it would be a lot of fun. Like I said, not every Crash Bandicoot game needs to be like this big AAA title. And that's pretty much all I've got to say. I don't want to ramble on too much. We're getting close to that 10-minute mark. I just think it would be great to reintroduce this game to the fandom that never knew about it. So, on top of bringing it back to people that have never got to play this game, and expanding the lore and the characters, because how many other games are we going to get to see Digger, Grumbler, Thorn Thing, Mr. Crumb? Like, yeah, we got cameos of them in Crash on the Run, but they never really were in a full-on game that the majority of people played. So, my Bandit Crew, that is it for the first spooky video of October. I might have another spooky video next week. Depends on how things sync up. And I hope you enjoyed the video. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Have a great night.